Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For those tuning in on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X, we're glad you all could be with us today. Can also bring in our friends over on IG so they can be part of our chat as well. And last but certainly not least, going to bring in our audience on Amazon Live. Have a great guest that's joining us today. Had a chance to read her book this year, and she's making her first appearance with us on Amazon, so I'm excited about that. We're now live on the Amazon Live platform with Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below, and type you guys in a quick welcome over there. You also will see the book by our next guest, Princess Aaliyah, and it's a book written by Stephanie Vanise. We're going to talk to Stephanie not only about the book, but also what it's been like for her to share her own love of Greek mythology, to be able to craft it in a story like this, and to see the response to it. For you guys joining us on Amazon, you all can get your copy of the book either in print or Kindle. I have the print edition, as you guys see here. We also will let you guys know how to stay connected with Stephanie as well. Stephanie, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Hey, look, the pleasure's definitely all mine. First of all, congratulations on the book. I think for anyone who's ever had an idea for either writing a story or crafting something, Stephanie, I'm sure they're excited about this as well. What has it been like for you to see the response to the book so far?
It's been pretty exciting. I mean, it's my first book, so it's been humbling, and the feedback so far, for the most part, has been greatly positive for those who've read it and left reviews. So that's satisfying.
So, as I mentioned, Princess Aaliyah takes us into Greek mythology. It was interesting when our mutual friend Ty Edwards first told me about your book. Of course, first of all, I had to look up Princess Aaliyah for myself because I know some mythology, not a lot. But I have to be honest with you, Princess Aaliyah was new to me. Has that been part of the fun for you, too, to be able to introduce people not only to her, but also her place in Greek mythology?
Yes, I found that many readers that have left reviews had not heard of Penthesilea and her involvement in the Trojan War. So yeah, that's been exciting and rewarding.
Crisscross Jump, hello to you over there on IG. Glad you can be with us. See you guys over there on YouTube as well. You guys have any questions or comments for Stephanie? You can put those in the chat. I'll be filling them on my end. So let's go back a little bit, Stephanie. When did your love of mythology, when did that kind of come to you?
Oh, when I was a child, movies that came out like Clash of the Titans, Hercules. The one of the scenes that sticks out to me that I remember as a child seeing is in Clash of the Titans when he's fighting Medusa. So, it started as a child, but for Penthesilea to have come forward, my mother had reached out to me, and I had just started writing screenplays at the time. And she had seen this doc series off of PBS, and one of them featured Princess Leia. And she's like, "I just saw this show. You really need to do a movie about this character, Princess Leia." She hadn't heard of her, and I hadn't heard of her. And I did some research, and the more I learned about her and her mother, the more intrigued I became.
And I think that's what makes your dialogue in the book. I'm going to be sharing, I mentioned to you, I'm going to be sharing a couple of passages. One actually features Princess Aaliyah, the other is talking about her. But one of the things I think that comes up in this book, and I want to mention to our audience ahead of time, and I was telling Stephanie before we went live, this is why I actually take the time to read books, so I can, for one, know the material myself and have a better conversation with my guests, but also to share with our audience. Because I think a lot of times, Stephanie, when people think about mythology or the Amazons, they only thing they think about is war. They think about, all of these different things. But what you do is really humanize these characters and give them something to fight for, but also to aspire toward. With Princess Aaliyah, it's really interesting because I think there are a lot of people that can relate to the Princess Aaliyah that we see in your book, because she's someone who feels like she has the need to prove herself, that she has to be able to show who she is. What was it like for you to take someone in mythology, but also to realize the real life way that so many people can relate to her?
Well, to be honest, I saw some of myself in her, and sort of like trying to find worthiness in a space that, you know, not so much today, but in my past, in spaces where I didn't feel like I fit in, right? And so I sort of just used that part of my history to help mold her as a character and do my best to stay true to her journey as an Amazon princess.
That leads to the first passage I want to actually share with our audience, Stephanie. And again, talking about her, I won't give much context, but you'll know what has happened here. There are two individuals that are talking about her, and you can help me with the pronunciation here, Stephanie. Is it pronounced Thyra? Is it Thyra?
Dira.
Thera. Okay, Thera, and the other is it Antioch or Antioch?
Antiope.
Oh, I had it totally wrong. See, I told you.
So good.
Okay,
I
so
had to
okay,
learn their names myself. So.
okay, so you said it's in. Say it
And
again.
Antiope.
Antiope. Okay, so Antiope and Thera, right?
Yes.
They're having a conversation about our main character, and it's so interesting here because for Thera, the thing is that's being said about our main character and why she does what she does. There is this phrase that is said, "Only a fool maims herself, chasing the illusion of greatness." And Thera says, "A fool, perhaps, but it gives so much of yourself to become what you truly are. That is not foolishness. That is courage." I want to talk about that because I think that's one of the interesting things about this book. Because as we're kind of taking this journey along with our main character, we're able to see again that she's not someone who relies on her looks. She's not relying on lineage. She really is trying to show that she has what it takes to be able not only to be someone who's fierce and courageous, but also protective of her own. What was it like for you to kind of put her in a situation where sometimes even her motives weren't understood?
Well, I mean, everyone has a point in their life. I think most people have a point in their life where they either have to put up or shut up, right? And for Penthesilea, her childhood, she was so much in the shadows of others, and she wanted to be great, and she wanted to have purpose. And so she, being the third born, um, she wasn't first in line to become queen when their mother died, and she wasn't in a position in birth to be a leader, so to speak, right? The role that her other sister Antiope took. So she had to find her purpose. And she felt after that her purpose was to be the warrior that her father was, which her father is Ares, the Greek god. So in order for her internally to reach that level, she felt like she had to sacrifice a physical part of herself, right, to grow internally and become uh, uh, to reach a level that her sisters couldn't reach because they were, in a way, they were sort of like stuck in their labels, right? Hippolyta was going to become queen. That was her thing. Antiope was going to be the general of the army. That was her thing. Penthesilea was limitless, and she was trying to figure out a way to reach her fullest potential, and not be in a position where, because she she lost her mother. She watched her mother get killed, and she wasn't again in a space physically or internally to avenge her mother or protect her mother at the time. So she did what she felt necessary in order for her to become the best that she could be, and that meant sacrificing part of her physical body to do so.
Yeah, I love that. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You're watching Cyrus Webb Presents. We're excited to welcome Stephanie Vanise to our broadcast. 563 Music Group, hello to you over there on IG as well. Appreciate you guys also tuning in over there on YouTube and X. And also, of course, our friends joining us on Amazon. So if you guys are watching on Amazon, you'll notice that in the carousel, either on the side or down below, you'll see the book that we're talking about today, Penthesilea, Rise of an Amazon. You guys can see it here. I have the print edition. You guys can get it for $11.49, or you can be able to get the Kindle edition here. I highlighted for you guys over on the Amazon side for $5.49. Stephanie Vanise is making her first appearance with us here on Amazon Live to talk about Penthesilea, what it's like for her to discover her story, but then, of course, to share it as well. Did you find that part of the fun, too, was being able to bring your own imagination to mythology, Stephanie, and kind of fill in the what if questions that people may have about Penthesilea?
Yes, it was fun, but I want to quickly say too that it's available as an audiobook. Um,
Oh,
so
nice. Okay.
yeah, uh, so yeah, it was fun. I felt like at some points it was challenging to sort of because I really wanted to stay as true to her story and her journey as possible. And there were a lot of blanks, and so I just, it's fun trying to make up the connective tissue that got her from her childhood to the actual war where she fights Achilles. It was, and I think a lot of it, because originally I wrote this as a screenplay, and that it's originally a screenplay, and I adapted it into the novel. And so in that journey was exciting and challenging, and it took me a good, I don't know, 7 years to write it. I started it back in 2017-18, and I just finished it late last year.
Did you find it when it came to thinking about your own passion for storytelling and writing, Stephanie, that parts of you kind of seeped into Princess Aaliyah's character that we get to see in the book?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. For sure.
And I bring that up because of the second passage I wanted to share, a conversation with Hector, an easier name for me. A conversation that Princess Aaliyah has with Hector, and I want to share that, and that's what prompted me to ask you that question. Princess Aaliyah says to Hector, "May I ask you something?" Hector says, "Of course." And then Princess Aaliyah says this: "Have you ever stood at a crossroad between what your heart desires and what your duty demands, though it meant breaking a promise you once made?" And then Hector says, "I have." And then he says, "Such choices cut deeper than any spear. Perhaps the truer question is, if your soul finds no peace, how can it rise to become all you are meant to be?" That's a beautiful passage, by the way, Stephanie. So I want to talk about that. What was it like for you to think about where Princess Aaliyah was in that moment? And what has it been like for you to think about that for yourself, about the crossroads that sometimes creators like yourself face?
Well, so for Princess Leia in that moment, she's torn between what she feels like she needs for herself to satisfy her thirst for vengeance regarding her mother's death. And she's torn between that, her internally, and then her allegiance to the Amazon nation, and more specifically her sister, who's now queen, and her mother, because her mother actually visited her after her death, and was like, just let it go. That was my fate. So she struggled with that, and luckily she chose family. And then in the end, I think if you read the book, you see, I feel like she chose family, but it came a little too late. If you read the book, you understand that. But and for me personally, as a creative, because I work as an editor full time, and making choices, I have found as I've gotten older, I'm more selective in the projects that I work on. My background is reality TV. And back then, I was enjoying editing. I was enjoying storytelling, and what happened behind the scenes didn't matter too much. As I got older, I was like, well, now it's starting to matter to me, the choices that I make, and the shows that I work on, because some of them can really impact people's lives in real life. And so that's a crossroads that I faced about 10 years ago. I was like, you know what? It's time to sort of support projects that uplift audiences and the people in the project versus, I've worked on shows where cast members would get bullied on social media. And I was like, I don't want to be part of that anymore. So,
yeah. And I appreciate you sharing that. So for yourself then now, what has this role been like for you? As you mentioned, this is your first book, Stephanie. Now you're having to have complete strangers like myself asking you questions. You have readers who don't know you reading your book. What has it been like for you to adjust to this role?
Actually, it hasn't been much of an adjustment, really, because storytelling is storytelling, and it just has different formats, right? Different platforms, different ways of doing so, and writing is just another way of me to be creative and share stories and uplift, uh, you know, whomever the story is about, or whoever the story might represent. Just another way
But
of doing that.
what about the front-facing part now? Now being on camera, doing interviews, and what has that part been like for you to adjust? Because it sounds like you've been used to kind of being like our main character here, in the shadows. Now you're kind of front and center. What has that been like for you to adjust to?
uh, it's been anxiety ridden. Nah, yeah, I work as an editor because, like you said, it's in the shadows.
Yeah.
It's behind the scenes. And I'm not, you know, I'm typically a shy person, introvert, and being on cameras, it's a little nerving, but unnerving. But I navigate it the best I can, and people want to meet me, then here I am.
There you go. Again, everyone, Penthesilea Rise of an Amazon is a new book by our guest, Stephanie Vanise. It's available here on Amazon, either in print, Kindle, and as she mentioned, you can get the audiobook as well. Stephanie, so glad we had a chance to have you on the program today. Congratulations on the book. Invite our audience to be able to get their copy. I'll be have a video review that I did for the book. I'll be posting this week as well. Stephanie, let our audience know, though, how they can stay connected with you.
Yes, I'm on Instagram, Stephanie_Vanise. You can connect with me there. Ask me any questions you'd like. I'm
Very
available.
good.
Yes.
See, Stephanie, see, I told you it was going to be easy. I told you you're going to look around, it's going to be over. See, we're done. That was
I
great.
I I appreciate that. Thank you.
And again, shout out to our mutual friend Ty Edwards that introduced me to the book and to you. And Stephanie, looking forward to continue to follow your journey.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you'll make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.